you a creative freelancer that's looking to work with higher paying clients? Well, I got news for you. It's not the camera that you need. It's not the more expensive lenses. It's not the lighting equipment. It's elevating your client experience. Today in this video, we're going to talk about things like delivery templates, communication styles, and making sure that your proposals are intact. So if this sounds like it's something for you, stay tuned to this video because it's packed full of value. Hey Internet, welcome back. It's Robert Teegarden here again with another video. Today we are talking about how to elevate your client experience in an effort of gaining you more revenue. Now the idea here is something that I talk about all the time, which is that you have to put your mind in the place of the people you are trying to work with, the ones that are trying to hire you. Now, in most instances, from a creative freelancer perspective, especially if somebody that's kind of just starting out and having these conversations, you're thinking about a marketing director, a business owner, a creative director. And I always try to envision that those people have a lot at stake. Their job's on the line with the particular project that they are counting on you to deliver for. And so what we're trying to do with that individual is to ease their mindset of hiring you, eliminate the buyer's remorse, make them think and trust that you are the appropriate person for this job, that you have the experience for this job. So like I promised, we're going to talk about a bunch of tips that have worked for me personally over the last several years of starting to work with higher end clients and ensuring, if I may, that we are going to take away that buyer's remorse and instill the trust factor in them by increasing the experience of working with you as a freelance creative from the very beginning of their experience. Now for this first one, I talked about how we communicate in the discovery and the proposal process. We want to be asking more questions than we are answering. A tall tale sign of a younger seasoned creative is somebody that is constantly trying to pitch the things that they're capable of doing. Now there's a difference between trying to educate your client in terms of what the expectations are and trying to constantly be pitching them on your greatness. The client, more often than not, found you for a reason and they were intrigued to work with you for a reason. So let that be the case. You can start asking them questions about what the pain points of their business are. What are they trying to do with the content that you are going to create? Where is it going? What are the next steps after that content is created? Start to ask savvy questions that make it seem as though, which should be true, you are engaged in the process of helping them solve valuable problems for their business. We are a service business, and the service that we are creating is not shooting cameras and capturing audio and editing video. It is solving problems for our client, so make sure that that experience in the discovery call is elevated in that way. Proposals are something that we have been able to win time and time again because we take the time to make sure that our proposal is very thoughtful, it's savvy, it's elegant, and the way that it is presented is as if we have taken the time to tailor make a proposal for that particular individual. You can see an example that I keep referencing on the screen right here, and it has an opening message that's directly to that client, summarizing the things that we talked about in the discovery call. It goes into what our process as a production company is. It goes into what the deliverables that client is seeking. It goes into inspiration and mood boards, examples of work that we've done in the past, and it talks about some loose terms like a one-sheet type of deal, all with an acceptance link and something that points to our invoicing. Now, the reason for this is what I continue to reference before. I'm trying to remove buyer's remorse, and at every step of the way, I'm looking for an opportunity to elevate what that experience is with this potential client. I can't tell you how many times we've gotten compliments on, I've never seen an invoice and or a proposal that looks like this. This is very impressive. Thank you for taking the time of putting such a thoughtful presentation together. The second you start taking those particular details seriously, you are elevating the experience from start to finish. The more trust you are building in your clients, and the better the overall experience is going to be. The next thing I want to talk about is to over-deliver on value. Now remember, it's not necessarily that we are presenting cameras and editing equipment and software and those sorts of things. We are solving problems. And the other element of this is that we're trying to stay in constant communication with our potential client. So in an effort to do this, I've started to think of different ways of implementing value that's of low cost to us as the vendor, but of high value to the client. So certain things that I've found is that clients tend to feel like the end of production and the beginning of delivery of post-production, when you start to hand over assets, there's a big gap where you go quiet. So is there an opportunity for you to continue to engage with your client and keep them on the hook to make them feel as though they're still getting what they paid for? Now, BTS production is something we've actually been leaning on heavily lately, and it's something that the client doesn't necessarily ask for, but it's a great additional value add for them. Now, we use BTS on our side from a promotional standpoint, so we have people that are on set capturing things. It could be as easy as a cell phone or as dedicated as a person that is capturing photo and video for us to repurpose later. But to give that to the client as well as an ancillary added value, not only is it something that they could potentially use for their own purposes and social media and newsletters and those sorts of things, but it also keeps them engaged and lets you know, hey, we're thinking about you, we're working on your project, and here's a little something to keep you engaged and let you know that we're still here for you. So maintaining that line of communication and over-delivering on value in those particular ways are really an excellent way to continue to keep your client engaged and to continuously build that trust. Now, I've talked about proposals and discovery calls, but it doesn't end there. Remember, it's adding value from discovery until delivery and even then some. So our delivery templates are as good, if not better, than our proposal templates. And all it is an environment that seems a little more elegant, a little more sophisticated than here's a Dropbox link, here's a Frame.io link, here's a Dropbox replay link, and or here's a WeTransfer for you, or I'm just gonna airdrop you these particular photos or videos, right? When you're looking at higher end clients and you're trying to add value, you need to do it in delivery as well. So again, here's a snapshot of what our delivery template looks like. It's tailored both in the imagery and in the language to that particular client. They have links to each individual directory that we need. We've got the hero asset that's live in the middle of the fold on the page. We have a link for Frame.io or Dropbox replay where they can give their notes and send them back to us. We have instructions on next steps for the client. We want them to give us notes back in a particular way by a particular deadline that we then do something with and give back to them. So it's constantly holding the hand of the client and elevating that experience for them by letting them know that you care about what this process is for them. Now, side note, this also helps guide and lead upwards, as they say, to make sure that your client is doing what you want them to do. The worst thing as a production facility is what we call death by 1,000 cuts, which is this back and forth on client notes, which I can do a whole other video on, but you're trying to guide them into the behavior that you're seeking them to have. So giving them these kind of Hansel and Gretel breadcrumb trails, if you will, on what to do and what to expect, all wrapped in the package of an elegant delivery template, is something that is going to elevate that client experience. Now remember, what I talked about is building that trust, eliminating buyer's remorse in the mind of the client, making sure that they know that their job is safe, their mortgage is going to get paid because they didn't drop the ball on some younger season creative that doesn't give a shit about how their experience is going to be. It's so disheartening when I hear clients talk to us about videographers and photographers that shot the stuff and ran away with the hard drive, never to be seen again. That type of unprofessionalism is something that cannot exist in our creative world anymore. A lot of the times we think of creatives as this kind of interesting pseudo business that floats on the outside of other business models, but that's not the case anymore. We're continuously seeing companies and individuals and organizations investing large sums of money and resources into content because of how incredibly important it is in the climate that we live in today. So we have to start thinking of ourselves as businesses, not simply as creatives that need to be inspired to do our great work. You will not get rehired and your creative career will be very short, and you will hear the tall tale sign of a failed creative, which is,
yeah man, that stuff was really fun, but I ended up having to get a real job because I couldn't make it work.
This is a real job, and you deserve to continue to chase the dreams that you've put out in front of you you and to achieve those dreams and to accomplish them. But you have to start taking your stuff seriously and treating it like the business it deserves to be treated in. With that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, if you like this video, please like the damn video. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments which one of these things was your favorite tip that you are going to be implementing. And if you have any more, please share them in the comments, because I know that there's a lot of other creatives that are looking there to try and see what they can glean from other creatives in the community over here in Teegarden land. We'll talk to you guys later. Thanks so much for watching this video. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.